Good morning, everyone. Morning. I'd like to welcome you to the Coop. It's a little busier than normal right now, but if I also invite everyone to stay afterwards and enjoy a lunch here if you like. And if you can't come afterwards, please come back. I'm going to put a few shameless little plugs in here. My name is Konstantin Stavropoulos. I'm the owner of the Coop. I'm also a small business owner that has several establishments in D.C. I'm a 40-year resident of D.C., so that makes me an official Washingtonian. I came here when I was one. No. I've been asked to introduce the mayor, and I was very excited, and we were very honored actually to be able to host the award ceremony here. Congratulations to all the recipients. We are one of them, so we are also very, very excited about that. I'll just say a few brief words. So I came here, as I said, in 1982 actually, and I fell in love with Washington. And then 1998 was the first time that we opened our first location, Trist. It's a coffee house, bar, and lounge in Adams Morgan, and then we ended up opening several more locations: the Diner, Open City, the National Cathedral, and I really, it's really tough to be a small business owner in any place, and I think Washington, especially the last few years, has made it very easy for us to operate. DCRA has gotten better. DCRA. Services have gotten better. Things are smoother, and I can tell, from big difference from '98 to now. But the Great Streets Grants Program, actually, I'm a former recipient of one. It helped. Oh my God! It was maybe in 2015 or 16 for one of our main office, which is in Northeast DC, and it made a huge difference. We were able to upgrade our infrastructure, and it was extremely helpful. So these grants, especially during these times, the grants are really, really important and the lifeblood. And I know a lot of the recipients here, would agree that it's really, really helped out. And I'm very grateful that the city has made it easier to apply for these things. Where's my CFO? Amber there. She did all the paperwork and did all the heavy lifting, and it was actually, it was very, very smooth and easy. Of course, I didn't do anything. She did it also. It was kind of. So I'm very, very grateful for the Great Streets Grant, and I'm just happy. I'm proud to call myself a Washingtonian and a business owner. So without any further ado, I would love to introduce actually one of our former regulars who used to come here all the time. And I hope that she continues to come here. Our Mayor, Mayor Bowser.
Thank you. Well, let's hear it for Konstantin and the Coop. And for all the CFOs out there doing the paperwork. Good morning, everybody. I am delighted to be here with all of you small business owners and business owners who are sticking in and hanging tough and who've gotten through this pandemic and who have worked with us hand in hand, whether it was picking up PPE or getting propane tanks or opening streeteries, making sure employees could stay on with you or keep their insurance. So these are all of the things that we have been able to work on together. Konstantin, I want to acknowledge you for always having a good idea and going into emerging corridors and making sure people have great food, you hire great employees, and we can meet our neighbors. It's time to meet and greet our neighbors again, isn't it? It's great to see everybody here at the Coop. I also want to thank our team at DMPED and DSLBD. I think you're going to be hearing from each of them later. So let's hear it for Team DMPED, Deputy Mayor Falchicchio, Director Christy Whitfield at DSLBD as well. I also want to mention some of our unsung heroes. Have you heard of the Mokers? They are the mayor's representatives in all 8 wards. And today we are joined by Ward 1 Moker, Anthony Moore. Where's Anthony? Give him a big round. Jared Allen, who is a new incoming Ward 1 Moker. And Moises Del Rosario, the Ward 1 Moker. I think the Ward 4 Mokers are here because they're just a block away. So give a round also to Anthony and Yami, the Ward 4 Mokers. So we are here to talk about some investments that we make a small investment and you turn it into really powerful things for your business. And we know what the last 2.5 years have been like. So we're doing our very best to make sure that the government can be a partner and not a burden. And since this pandemic has started, my administration and the city council has invested over $350 million in DC small businesses. So getting grants out in March 2020 was one of the first actions we took. And I want to thank the teams at DMPED and DSLBD who tried to make those processes as seamless as possible. And we haven't just been throwing money and resources around randomly. We've been making strategic investments in your business so you can make strategic investments in our communities and our residents. So we have been working with our Great Streets teams, our business improvement districts, to understand exactly what you need. They have been paying close attention to those needs, and we have been mindful of the grant programs that we have put together. So we have sustained long-term programs like Great Streets, but we have also created new ones like the Bridge Fund and the Commercial Property Acquisition Fund. And funds that are specific to what you are doing each and every day in our community. So since 2015, that was a good year. I became mayor that year. We have used Great Street grants to award over $42 million to almost 450 businesses. And today, we will be awarding $6.8 million to 65 local businesses. So just like Constantine and his wonderful CFO can attest to, we're trying to make this process more seamless so that more people can apply. But you will also become our ambassadors. You can tell other business owners that are on your block, that you work with, that are in your networks, the types of programs that DC provides. And we know that everybody can find out by going to our website at obviously.dc.gov. So, what's the website? Obviously. That is, you'll hear that again, so get ready. So are you ready for the comeback? Are you ready for the comeback? Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for sticking with us. So with that, let me bring up John Falchicchio to tell you more about DMPED's programs.
Well, thank you, Mayor Bowser. Someone said that they were shamelessly plugging. There's no shameless in plugging, right? So what's that website again? All right. My name is John Falchicchio. I have the honor of serving as Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. I always thank Mayor Bowser for appointing me. She says it's the best job in D.C. government. I will tell you it is the most fun job in D.C. government. And this portion of the program is actually the participatory portion. So how many people have received a grant this year? Raise your hands. Great. Now, were any up behind me, too? Were there hands up behind me, too? Okay, good. Now, I'm going to ask another question, and this is where that website comes in really handy. How many people want a grant this year? All right, good. So what's that website again? All right, so Mayor Bowser talked a lot about Great Streets. I'm going to talk about two other programs. We're announcing the awardees today, Locally Made DC and the Neighborhood Prosperity Fund. So Locally Made DC, the mayor went up to Capitol Hill, and they said to her, you know, DC shouldn't be a state. You don't have any manufacturing. And we actually do have manufacturing. You could boo for that. That's fine. We actually do have manufacturing. And what Sabanglay Cook and the team came up with was Locally Made, which actually helps us invest in DC manufacturing. So we had a first round of that. And today we're announcing 4 new awardees, Because Science, Cotton Reed, Right Forward, and Think Italian, which is a science gift store or manufacturer, a distillery, a brewery, and Italian liqueur. So let's give a round of applause for those awardees. I told you this was going to be participatory, but it's also the time for props. You ready? So it's 5 o'clock somewhere, so we have some beer, right? So this beer is from City State Brewery, right? So in City State Brewery actually was one of our original awardees of Locally Made. And what they did was they invested in a new line to actually do canning on site. Right? So they're able to brew their beer, and they're able to actually can it now. So we gave them $145,000 for a $170,000 piece of equipment, right? And they were previously, when they had to can before, they had to send it out. They had to send the beer that they brewed out to a canner who charged them, are you sitting down? Most of you are, $5 a case to can it. So you could see how that could cut into their bottom line. And so that's what Locally Made does. So let's hear it for Sabanglay Cook and the team at Demphead for putting that together. Neighborhood Prosperity Fund, also, we're going to announce those awardees today. They're going to be on our website. We're really excited about them. And another program that I know the mayor continues to celebrate and did it in partnership with the person who's going to come up next, Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie, is the Commercial Property Acquisition Fund. The Commercial Property Acquisition Fund, and I saw somebody look up and take up their phone. I know they're taking notes on this now. It's on obviously.dc.gov. Allows business owners to actually buy their building or another building to operate their business, right? So let's give it up for that program. And Janelle Anderson, where's Janelle Anderson? She's somewhere here. Does anybody see her? Oh, she's in the back. She's in the back. And the reason she's in the back is because she actually took advantage of the Commercial Property Acquisition Fund, and she actually just bought her property at 2141 Wisconsin Avenue. She moved in yesterday. And she said, you know, I'm paying a little bit more, but I'm paying myself. And that's what this is all about, right? Making sure that we keep the wealth here in D.C., that you all can hire more D.C. residents and put them to work. So thank you all for the work that you do. We do this all in partnership. The mayor mentioned over $350 million in grants available during the pandemic. And we do it in partnership with the Council of the District of Columbia. And we have a chair who's the council's, the Committee on Business and Economic Development, who helps us get this work done, who's a partner in the work and actually helps us think these up. But then, most importantly, the budget just passed this week. Make sure we protect them as they go through the budget, too. So let's give a hand to, and bring them up. Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie.
Good morning. Good morning. I am so delighted to be here this morning to celebrate these grantees and to celebrate the work of the District of Columbia and the person who is the CEO of the District of Columbia, who has worked really diligently with her team and the council to make sure that over the course of this pandemic, you all have gotten the resources that you need. You've gotten the grants that you need to be able to really make it through to the other end of this thing. Madam Mayor, I am ready for the comebackers. So let's give the person who has led the comeback a round of applause for all that she's done. Madam Mayor Muriel Bowser. I also want to recognize Deputy Mayor John Falchicchio, Sabanglay Cook. I see some folks from the Chamber, Dr. Carolyn Rudd. This has truly been a partnership over the course of more than 2 years And despite the challenges that the city has faced, whether you know it or not, we have been in the trenches talking to you all, finding out what you need to support your businesses and your workers, because we want to work with you to make sure you make it to the other side of this pandemic. And the things that we've been able to accomplish, they've mentioned them already, but I think it bears repeating. The Commercial Property Acquisition Fund, when we were thinking about that, we were thinking about legacy businesses like Ben's Chili Bowl, businesses like Industrial Bank, Lee's Flower Shop, businesses that have been able to generate wealth. And one of the ways that you generate wealth in this country is to own the places that you work. And working with them to put $4 million in last year, to put another $4 million in this year, and to protect it, like John said, to make sure that you all can get those resources and buy your buildings and own those buildings and hopefully generate some wealth that you can pass on for generations. Black and brown residents, women-owned businesses, this is what it's all about. So give yourselves a round of applause for all the work that you all have done. And just to say finally, look, it might not be so obvious to some people, but it is obvious to me that the District of Columbia's commitment to our small and local businesses, some people talk about it all the time. You hear elected officials around the country say, oh, they're the backbone of the local economy. Well, if they aren't putting up the resources in that city to match the talk and the rhetoric, then they aren't putting their money where their mouths are. In D.C., we put our money where our mouths are, and we should celebrate that. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you to the team, Christy Whitfield, and all the folks who've made that happen.
Thank you, Councilmember McDuffie. One more round of applause for the council member. Also, I want to make sure you keep clapping because we got to thank some folks who made today possible on the DemPed team. Liz Anderson, the Great Streets Director, who's behind me. The legal team, Andarsh, Matt, and Mark. And then our grants team, Fatima Scott, led the way for us. So let's give them a round of applause. And with that, Director Christy Whitfield found a new way to help support our businesses. So let's bring her up and hear a little bit about that.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Madam Mayor. My name is Christy Whitfield. It is an honor and a privilege to serve this mayor as the Director of the Department of Small and Local Business Development. So shout out to all my small businesses out there. So the bad thing about going last is that your talking points have all been used up. So let me just say briefly, I was reflecting on, being the district of comebacks. Like, I was thinking this morning, I feel bad for other cities. And here's the reason why. Because they don't have our mayor. Right? So other cities talk about keeping local dollars local, and as the council member said, like sometimes these are words. Our mayor said, let's keep it local, let's write it down, and let's check it, right? This mayor is the first mayor to write it down and put it in the Green Book, right? Give it up for the Green Book. This mayor is the first mayor to cross the $1 billion local spend for SBEs in the city. Put it up for this. This mayor is the first mayor to set the goal at $1 billion. So we broke it, and now that's not the ceiling anymore, y'all. This is now the floor. We're going to spend this every year, and we're going to break it every year. Give it up for that. And now, every now and then, there's a hiccup, right? Now we got our small businesses, and we got some SBEs in here. And sometimes it doesn't work out. And in the before times, people thought that those laws were just words to the council members' things. But this mayor appointed an entrepreneur that believes in the law and believes in the words. This director is the first director to collect a fine for people that do not spend that money where they're supposed to with our local dollars. And then when we kept those, we wanted to go where we're supposed to go. But when it doesn't, then where do we put it? Back in the pockets of our local business economy. And so I'm really excited that this mayor allowed us to take fine money to fund the EIE grant funds. Those EIE grant funds, they come from fines from people that didn't quite make their spend, y'all, right? So if you got an EIE grant, thank this mayor First, letting people know that the local dollars stay local one way or another, y'all. One way or another. So thank you, Mayor Bowser, for that. And we are really excited because I know, because I'm an entrepreneur, that time is money. If you got an EIE grant, was it hard? No, it wasn't hard. You know, we got that fine in the spring. We let that grant out in April. Raise your hand if that money is in your bank account. Mayor, look around. All right? Because this mayor says, Christy, you know, don't dilly-dally. The people need the money. Do you guys need the money? Do you need the support? Do you think this mayor knows that? All right. Now, listen, it's nice to come and see that people got money. But then if you see they got money, then you're like, well, all right, they got money, but then I missed the boat. But did you miss the boat with this mayor? Does she always have something else lined up for you? Yes, she does. And where do you go when you need to see it? All right, so DSLBG has a little more also in store for you with our robust retail grants. They are open right now because our retail corridors, they are coming back, but they still need to, you know, a little bit more to make sure they participate in the comeback. So those grants are open right now. Don't miss it. Don't call me and say you didn't hear, because we've been everywhere. I've been stomping those corridors, Mayor. I've been talking about it. And what do I say to you when I see you in the street? Get that money. All right? All right. Thank you, guys.
Well, you heard it. Obviously, DC, 65 grantees today, over $6 million, and a lot of support. Another thing that we learned during the pandemic, that we always have to be figuring out how we can support our small businesses with back office support, and making sure when opportunities are available, everybody is available to go after them. Is Commissioner Michael Ray? Hi, Commissioner. This is ANC 1A Commissioner, so give him a big round of applause. Thank you for being here. And also, former First Lady Cora Masterberry has joined us. Thank you, Cora, for being here. So with that, I think we're going to go outside and take some pictures. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Constantine. Thank you, the Coop. And show some love to the Coop. Have some coffee. Have some food. Thank you, everybody.